During this experiment that we had with the UN Habitat, the United Nations, and Egypt, we were able to be practically joining one of the promising project in Egypt that can reflect how do we see the SDG 11 from our side. According to the flagship project issued like 5, 6 years ago, 2.5 trillion US dollar is being expanded for the infrastructure. Nonetheless, 3.3 trillion US dollar is the actual need for growth rate at the world need. According to the SDGs, by 2030, 380 million jobs is being unlocked, and at least 12 trillion opportunity for business and private business in particular could be unlocked. We believe that the private sector has a central role to play due to the innovative skills, the technological and the global to reach the business of implementation of the SDGs. The SDGs promises a significant economic reward for this. Um, as we all know that the SDGs has particular indicators and goals, nonetheless, we have different or more elaboration due to the SDG 11. As Ashley was saying in the first presentation, indeed, SDG 11 has it all. So it is uh, elaborating different sectorial, different aspect, economic, cultural to tangible and concrete, something that we can see on the ground. So according to the sectorial issues, SDG 11.1, 2, and 7 can show how to ensure access, uh, uh, how to upgrade, ensure access to adequate, safe, affordable housing, upgrade slums, basic services, housing, public transportation, etc., including the public spaces, elder, uh, and disabled people. And this is the second pillar here is the thematic. So 11.3, 5, and 6 to enhance inclusive and sustainable urbanization via sustainable settlements, management planning. And the third pillar is 11A, B, and C to support positive economic, social, environmental links and substantial increased number of cities, and as well as support countries to include financial and technical issues. The SDG is very clear that there is a linkages between SDG 11 and other SDGs, 9, 10, and the rest of it. And we have clearly investigate how to linkage different targets from each one of these SDGs to the SDG 11 to make it more sound on the ground, as well as other initiatives like the City Prosperity Index and other initiatives, Rockefeller Foundation for Resilient Cities, etc., for more productive cities, infrastructure, quality of life, and equity, social inclusion, environmental sustainability, governance, and legislation. We show how SDG can show a paradigm shift and how we can finance, develop, and govern managed cities via three transformative commitments: social inclusion, prosperity, and sustainable resilient development, and three elements effective, which is urban governance, planning, and urban finance. Um, three projects here I would like to shed light on. In Tokyo, for example, there was an important project to link the Kawasaki to the other part of the island via a bridge and tunnel extend to 10 kilometer underwater tunnel and about 5 kilometer a bridge to allow like 25,000 vehicle a day. Unfortunately, there was obstacles that hinder the development of the project. It took over 30 years for the implementation, which is modify the project so many times, the internal and so other initiatives were taking place for this project, such as having an artificial uh, island for a hotel for develop one of hotel uh, recover the cost. The actual cost for this project, 11.2 billion US, which is 5 times from the proposed initial budget, which is add another activities to cover the cost of this pro- proposed an initial budget to add aquarium, markets, etc. under the ground, under the water, and the luxury shops, amusement facilities. The problem clearly here is that there was a technical challenges and business modality. In Denmark, for example, there was a huge regional business hub, and it was a city region approach project to expect to host around 100,000 people to live in, with students over 20,000, and allow people to employ there for 80,000. The challenge here was the landscaping and outdoor design. Because of the commercial offices, supermarket, restaurant, the recreational activities, put pressure on the project to maintain this kind of landscapes, and the joint between the government and the private sector put different lens for the visibility study. There was an overbelief of the market, um, disabled the function planning, and was quite massive cost overruns, and the cost recovery was quite huge. There was a lack of interest from buyers and disappointment sales, and there was a large debates than anticipated. A number of revision was done for the project to minimize the cost or the running cost of the project, and I believe this is a visibility challenges. The last demo here was be Kigali city master plan from Rwanda. The Rwandan government wants uh, uh, to provide a master plan for the capital of Rwanda, and the project is quite huge. So it was given to one of the international consulting firm, um, but with quite a different context in Singapore, and it was quite ambitious project. It took like 5 years for plan and provide the final drawings. Unfortunately, there wasn't a quite a dialogue between the government and other stakeholders and community as well. So there was a lack of flexibility of the project, disconnecting for the local context what ambitious buildings and the plan for a future city that failure to include the characteristics and the local context, and consider community living standard, and that was faced by lack of finance, which is I presume that it's quite a business modality challenges. I would like to take a quick overview for the one of the experiment that I was telling you about, which is new cities in Egypt called El Alamein. Why? Because it is part of the National Strategic Plan of Egypt 2030, which is launched in Sharm el-Sheikh 5 years ago. It considered the north coast. El Alamein is in the north coast of Egypt. It considered this project will be one of the pillars for the development of the northern coast as a gate for the European countries and the Mediterranean basin countries as well. So we provide a comprehensive methodology to undertake such project, started with the participation and critically discuss different issues linked to planning, mechanism of new cities, the social aspect, the strategy, the location, the connectivities of cities, the business modality, the policy transparency of the process, the environmental fragility, etc. We've launched this participation with academia, professionals, officials from the government, um, practitioners, and local communities, as well with activists. We had what we called a white paper, and based on this, we have a conceptual plan, a very preliminary master plan. We project this master plan for a visibility study. The visibility assessment, this is a brand new methodology that we've established in Egypt to support the UN Habitat to do. For who doesn't know quite well, the Egypt has like 3 generations for new cities. Um, Not very successful. The total number of cities, like 22 cities in Egypt via 3 generations. We critically examine the number of inhabitants, because most of this are not very successful to attract target audience. So we did the experiment to see the linkages between the uh, business instrument, uh, uh, the process of the planning, um, the land use, the business that attract entrepreneurs, and to show like a logarithm that put in this formula what kind of uses that attract people, and based on created job opportunities. And from this productive, we went to the productive assessment to see clearly how can Al Alamein play a massive role as indicated by the strategic plan. So we did this productive assessment to see the gap analysis, the economic structure, the human resource, what is the profile of the people, workers, and the assets on the area, based on 3 main target audience: businessmen or investors and visitors, and then finally the resident. Each one of this target audience has specific lines for what the city should be. And this you can see on your right hand top. What can the city do? What can the city provide? How the customers need, or this target audience, and other competitive destinations. From the interaction between all these 3, we have the sweet spot that can clearly show what kind of activities, what businesses needed in the city to play such a role. We analyze and project this on the international world, external world, and the city region, what we call the city region. And based on this, it was very clear that the bottom-up analysis will not give a clear and viable solutions. Um, the location can give some potential, but we need to use what we called smart specialization and smart solution with value chain analysis. Quickly, I can shed light on how we did this. We analyze the exports and imports products in the region of Al Alamein, of this new city, and to see what kind of product the country export or imports in which level of industry. So it is raw material, or made, manufactured, or final product for end users. And from where, according to region, it be imported or exported. And we link this with different international huge project, like a Suez of Canal corridor and other new competitive city. This changed a little bit the master plan that we have done after this participation with different stakeholders. This changed a little bit because we changed the CBD, the center of the city, to another place to make it more flexible for the city. And we have a clear benchmark model for descriptive model and numerical model for population, areas, land uses, connectivities that was divided based on business, investors, and residents' targets. To finalize, in conclusion, we provide the government and the UN Habitat how can Al Alamein improve the productive capacity and how can Al Alamein open a gate to Europe, in the Middle East, North Africa, and other countries. So this is can be done via a natural trading, but this new city should play a different role. It wouldn't be like industrial city, rather than play a control a membrane about other industrial cities or hubs in the country, and to increase and integrate over time with such economic activities, to play as an engine and gateway from Northern Africa to Europe via having an establishment of a huge platform and marine, and finally provide a logistic hub to between the countries at the Mediterranean basin. And finally, how this manufacturing play a role as a specialized area with a specific um, business and expected land uses, um, um, as well as knowledge-based economy to play in a specific clusters um, to be attracted for entrepreneurs. This is the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you one more time, and it was a great pleasure to have me today. Thanks.